You said one time that it's not enough just to be the richest man in the world, which you contend that he is, but he's got to be the scariest guy in the world. He's got to be the everythingest guy in the world,
exactly,
in order to hold power in a place like Russia, or in his mind to hold that power.
Yeah, and that's how he's done it. Russia's not an easy place to hold power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big country. There's a lot of people, a lot of nasty people, just as nasty as him, wanting, a bite at the apple. I mean, he's the richest guy in the world. Other people want that. And the only way to do that is to just be so scary to so many people that everyone's like, I don't want to mess with that guy.
Also, I was watching House of Cards recently, and there's this, fictional scene where the Russian president comes over and he's talking to, the president, and he says, our presidents don't retire here. And is that a real thing in Russia? Where, they have had presidents retire, and Gorbachev, died of old age, but when he leaves, it's very dangerous for him potentially. So when he wants to stay in power, is he fighting for his life sometimes?
Yeah, I think you've hit the crux of everything that's going on. So, in theory, he could leave power like anybody else, but he's stolen so much money, he's taken so many people hostage, he's killed so many people, he's responsible for so much crime that if he ever were not to be president, he would be prosecuted, he would be stripped of all this wealth and fortune that he's created, and he'd probably die. And he's a paranoid little man who needs to stay in power to stay alive for the rest of his life. And that explains everything that we're involved in right now. That why did he invade a foreign country? He doesn't have any beef with Ukraine. If you were to objectively just ignore all rhetoric that he's said.
Is it not the breadbasket of Russia? Does he not have to keep NATO from coming in and encroaching? Are there not some reasons, not justifying the war, that he's doing that?
Well, so let's look at all these. So NATO. So while this has been going on, Finland and Sweden joined NATO. Far more menacing than Ukraine. They are real militaries. The Finns could give Russia a run for their money any day. Is he going to war with Finland and Sweden right now? This is just pure smokescreen hype to justify something much simpler. To use another analogy, wag the dog. So this is a wag the dog war. There's no beef between Russians and Ukrainians. There's no Nazis in Ukraine. Zelensky's Jewish. It's absurd. And so if he really wants to create a Russian empire, there's a lot easier places that we don't care about that he could be going to. But he wanted a war. He wanted a war, and he chose Ukraine, and they started concocting this whole, Nazis, fascists, blah blah blah, back in 2014 to justify the invasion of Crimea. And by the way, there's a great chart which explains everything. If you look at it, it's Putin's approval rating over time, assuming you believe it. But for the purpose of this argument, let's just say it's true. Every time his approval ratings start to flag, 2008 he goes into Georgia.
Yeah,
it starts going down again. 2014, Crimea starts going down again. 2022, full-on Ukraine. It's just purely war as a strategy and a tactic for him to get everybody behind him. And by the way, it's also really good for him to get rid of all these pesky journalists and get rid of Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff that just right. makes life difficult for him. And he can just have a bullshit message that he spreads around through his state media, and nobody knows any different.
Right, clean house. Never let a good crisis go to waste, and he creates one, and they can use it to clean house.
And get rid of all the intelligentsia who didn't like him. They're all gone, and so he's got a sort of much more passive, docile population that's ready to put up with whatever he's got going, so he can stay in power.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year is going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone. Also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?